Welcome to Stoughton Media Access Cable's Community Forum Show. My name is Steve Kelly and I'll be your host today. And today I have the distinct pleasure of bringing you a group from the Stoughton Library, specifically the SOLA group. And I'll start introducing my guests. First, Pat Basler, who's the director of the library.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, and then Dolores Cummins, who's the new president of SOLA. Thank you so much for taking over that responsibility. Lynn Jordan, who is a member of SOLA. And before I just go on, SOLA is the Support Our Library Association of Stoughton. I'll make it SOLAS. But so Lynn Jordan is a member who also happens to be a planning board person and also the principal of the Gibbon School.
Correct.
You do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then our last guest, saving the last for the best even, we'll say, is Jen White. And Jen, you are Public Relations Vice President for Harbor One and also the president of the Harbor One Foundation, which gives lots of good things to people in need.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Thrilled to be here.
All right, so you guys are going to explain to the audience all of the wonderful things happening at the new library site and with the foundation itself. So Pat, maybe you could start us off.
Okay.
And just bring everybody up to date. It is amazing that the library is taking shape before our eyes. So maybe just give us a little update.
Sure. I just came actually from a weekly construction trailer meeting. We meet every week on Thursday morning at 9:30 at the trailer site at the location. And they officially feel like they're at the 50% point of completion. So that's really exciting. So we hope to be back in the new building sometime this fall. The final date isn't clear yet. But we're at that point where now we've ordered furniture and the windows and the outside paneling will start to go up. So in the next couple of months, it's really going to start to look like a finished building from the outside, which is exciting. But SOLA was a group that we kind of, it came together about 2011, 2012, when we submitted a grant to the Mass Board of Library Commissioners to fund this construction project that we're finally getting to. And one of the requirements for the grant was that the library have a fundraising arm. And we really never did. And so I thought, how does someone start a fundraising arm? It's not something I can do. It's not within my job. I can't be a fundraiser and be the director. So I'm only here to talk about the library. But the fundraising arm, I thought, well, who could get this done? And the couple of people that came to mind was Dory Frankel, who, if anyone knows her, you can't say no to Dory. That's like the joke. She asks you to do something, you just do it. Sharon Fradkin, who is retired now, but her and her husband ran Wizard of Ads for years, so she's very good with advertising and getting things done. She also runs kids voting. She was on the League of Women Voters. I can't think of lots of other things in town.
Lots of nice things, yeah.
Dolores, sitting here to my left, is the current president of SOLA. But Dolores I knew because she is in the library almost every week. She's an avid reader. She's lived in town her whole life. And when we started doing Stoughton Reads Together programs, where we do a month-long program of getting the town to read the same book during the same time, she was on the committee for that and was very interested in making sure that program got off the ground, and we do that every year. So we didn't do it this year because we've had other things on our plate, but.
So let's shift right over to Dolores. And Dolores, so did Dory ask you the question that you couldn't say no to? Is that how you're now president?
No, it was just kind of that Dory was not going to be around enough.
She travels a lot.
She travels a lot, and I was vice president, and I was the logical and basically only successor. So here I am. But I've been involved in SOLA since its inception, and our goal has always been to raise funds for the library. And I think Pat is going to show you some,
We have a slideshow.
yeah, we have a slideshow of some of the things that SOLA supports. And so we've been fundraising since the beginning with the mysteries at the library, the murders at the library, and the Downton Abbey tea and things like that, selling books.
Okay.
And that's our function, raise money.
Good, and I know we're going to put up a list of naming rights,
Yes,
so that'll be a fun thing that we can go over.
yes.
So, well, thank you for coordinating that effort. So let's jump over to Lynn.
Sure.
Besides being the principal, which would make you involved in reading for sure, how is it that you came to be as part of SOLA?
I came to be part of SOLA, first of all, attending all of their fundraising events. And then I'm on the building committee for the library renovation. So then SOLA just kind of became a natural extension of that. And the schools have always had a great relationship with the library through summer reading programs, through field trips for programs and outreach and things like that. So it was just kind of a great fit.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell us like 1 or 2 programs that are coming up?
Sure. Summer reading is right around the corner. So we used to do separate programs. The school did a program, the library did a program, and the kids did both. And then we kind of have incentives for them to read over the summer. And we allowed them to use the reading for school, could go to the library, and vice versa. And then a couple of years ago, we just thought, oh, that's crazy. We should just combine programs. So that's what we've done. So they have, I think every day there's something going on at the library throughout the summer for the kids
For
to.
about 6 weeks straight.
Yeah.
It's a very friendly place.
Yeah, and then they have like a little calendar they can keep. So if they go on vacation, they can still read, still be part of the summer reading program. And the library very graciously keeps track. They have their little sheets, their tracking sheets, and they send them to us in the fall so we can acknowledge all the students who participate. So then we can have our own little thing at school. They have a big culminating activity at the
So
library.
lots of reading for the kids. Read.
Lots of reading. And they have a very successful, which I'm sure Pat's going to talk about too, is their homework help club. I may be saying the wrong title, but and oftentimes when I'm there, I recognize a lot of former students who participate and take advantage of it. But it's for older kids, not our elementary students, but older students.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
So
it's
let me
great.
segue over to Jen.
Sure.
How did you become one of the mercenaries for SOLA?
I was going to say, how did I get roped into this crowd?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I come at it both professionally and personally. From a professional level, as you mentioned, I work for Harbor One Bank, and I'm the VP of Community.
I'm going to ask you to speak louder now
Yes.
so everybody can hear you.
Yep, VP of Community Relations. So part of my role with the bank is really to get out into the communities where we have a presence. And Harbor One is opening a branch here in Stoughton.
A new branch.
A new branch towards the end of the year.
Where's it going to be?
On Washington Street. Yeah, so we're really right near the Dunkin' Donuts. People know that, right? So I'm on a personal side, I have a passion for libraries. I had a chance to, I live in the town of Milton and served as a library trustee for 6 years and went through our build there. Our build is almost a decade old and really know the impact a new library can have on a community. So I was in meeting with some of these folks in regards to really what Harbor One does in the community, and we do a lot of financial education and life skills education. And before I left, I was on the committee. Because we got talking about the power of libraries.
Yeah.
And of course, Pat gave me. I wanted a tour of the swing, of the temporary space. And
Yeah.
by the time I left, I was in.
And you were in.
So-
So maybe you could tell us of one program that you have at Harbor One that the audience might be interested in?
Yeah, so we do. We have a program called Harbor One University. It's Harbor One U, where we provide life skills training and financial education. And we've been talking and the library has a very rich history of multicultural and the literacy program.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I think we have to do a better job as a community. You know, especially the colleges have to do a better job at actually getting people into the trades or into doing things that are specific. So a grant program like you're talking about is something I think that could help a lot.
Yeah, I think it has a future of being a great collaborative program, bringing some either life skills or small business programming into the space. So
Well, and just money management.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Just basic money
right.
management.
Yeah, you have great educational programs, I think. We see a lot of things that we can share.
So, and you can collaborate, maybe to get some space to do something. I'm
Yeah.
sure that Pat won't charge you too much.
Well, of course, that's one of the nice things about the new libraries. There's so many spaces,
Right, additional space, yeah.
additional space that
Yeah.
we did not have before.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Gina Coe. She's our executive producer out back, and ask her to put up a slideshow that I'm going to ask Pat to do some commentary on. So first, I want to thank Gina Coe. She's out there. Roy Cohen is also out there. Jeff Pickett has helped put this together, and Leo McGowan is in the camera chair, just off camera, helping us out as well. So Pat, can you tell us about this slide, and then we'll go to a couple of others.
Sure. So we put this slideshow together to show the public people who use the library, but also people who don't, the kinds of activities we have and the kinds of programs that SOLA has sponsored in the past. So on the left is Miss Amy's Story Time, and she could have anywhere from 20 to 40 young moms or dads or grandparents or caregivers with an infant to 3-year-old. And she does 2 of those every Wednesday. And it's really a program more for the parents and caregivers than for the children. It teaches good parenting skills and gets new parents comfortable with singing out loud to their child and reading out loud and finger play and those kinds of things. The middle photo is a Tinker Time STEM program. We've gotten funding from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners in the past and other organizations to do science, technology, engineering, and math programs. And we currently do 2 different age groups, one for elementary school and one for teens. And this actually, somehow those bananas were conducting electricity through the computer. I didn't watch the whole program, but it was amazing. And then the program on the right is part of our summer reading program last year. Since we're in a temporary space, we rented this fun bus, which is a mobile gymnastics unit, and we put it in the parking lot in the temporary space, which, by the way, is practically across the street from the new Harbor One when they come into town. Mm-hmm. And the kids loved it because we had to improvise. We don't have space in the temporary building to have programming space. So
Yeah, I don't think that sort of thing bothers kids near as much as
No.
it does adults.
yeah, no, we
They're like, this is exciting. Let's move chairs. Let's have fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do a lot of stuff in the building, and it's noisy. And if you're trying to get some work done on the computer, we have to give you headphones because there's no way to make the room quiet. But having this last summer was a lot of fun, and we'll probably do it again this summer because we will be there for the entire summer reading program, the end of June through the beginning of August.
All right.
So the next slide is teen programs, and this is just a variety of, we have arts and crafts. The kids on the top left painted these owl art models. In the center, these young ladies are part of the Teen Advisory Board, and they do a fundraiser every year for the Evelyn House and collect items that people who are in transitional housing and then are going into their first new home or apartment might need.
It is amazing how many collaborations and integrations that occur through this library.
Yeah, well, we try to be part of the
Teen
community.
House,
Yeah.
I mean,
The Evelyn House,
you know,
yeah.
the infants, the literacy, the parents learning parenting. I mean,
It's every age.
you've done an incredible job. And then it's, you know, the adult literacy program. I mean, you're integrating.
We're trying.
I'm going ahead of your
You're
slide.
going ahead of my
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the one on the right is a young person, young lady who's doing, every month the teen librarian organizes them to do a cultural fair. And so they pick different countries. They'll start out with the country they might be from or have family from, but then they highlight. So that, you know, this young lady has a show on the smart board, and she's learning technology. She put a presentation together. They bring in food. They talk about specific countries, and it's great for the kids. And adults come into the cultural fairs. It's open to anybody to walk through, and that's great. We do those at the middle school now until we get our new space. And then the next slide is Dolores. The one on the left So the one on the left is, a couple of years ago we read a book about the Civil War, Killer Angels, I think.
Yes.
And this thing just got out of control. We ended up doing a complete Civil War reenactment, and we had a parade where people in town dressed in,
Yes.
women, some of those people in dresses are like the town accountant's assistant and the treasurer. You know, people who do payroll in town offices, and the town clerk. They just bought dresses online from the replicas from the 1800s, and we all marched from town hall to Faxon Park, and we had a complete Civil War reenactment camp. It was a great day.
The Stoughton Reads Together program, which I'm involved with, is a tremendous program and brings people from other communities that don't have it. And when we go on the field trips, everyone just raves about how wonderful this program is.
Well, the field trips, they always include a bus trip and food.
Right.
So that's...
But we have...
You don't have to take that away. It's okay
But
to
there are
have a
lots
bus
of
and food, you
different
know?
programs,
Yeah. So
it's very well attended.
it is.
Yeah.
We can't wait to start it up again. So the middle shot is a Portuguese dance troupe that came from Norwood, and we try to have different cultural groups come in, but we have a very big Portuguese population in town, and that was great fun. And then on the right, every year we have this family come in and they do African doll making class for the kids, and they bring all the supplies. We have about 100 kids that participate. It's just amazing. So we can go to the next slide. These are programs that happen at the library, but I don't organize them specifically. The chess club, that man volunteered to teach chess, and he just comes every Wednesday and teaches chess from 5 to 7. And anybody from any age, adults to kids, can join in. And then sometime in the summertime, I think, or the fall, we have a big chess club tournament. And then the right is...
What's his name again? Do you remember?
Mr. Warzak.
Mr. Warzak.
He's wonderful.
Good for you, Mr. Warzak.
That actually started about 15 years ago by a fellow named Rem Gallis, and he came from Russia. He and his wife were... he worked for the Mir station, so the NASA, the Russian NASA equivalent, and his son was in Massachusetts, so they came here. They're both retired, and he learned English in our adult literacy program. And then after 3 or 4 years, he said, "I want to give back to the library. I'll start a chess club." And then when he moved on, Mr. Warzak took it over. But it's all volunteer. It's just a great free program. And then those are tap dancers on the right. They meet every Wednesday night, and they tap, and you can hear it through the whole building. But they open it to whoever wants to join. So there was a man who joined that class for a couple of months because it was good for his physical therapy. We had young teens who have joined. It's just a great program. Again, doesn't cost us anything. It's run by the rec department. Here's the adult literacy program. That's been going on for 20 years now. And we have several conversation classes a week. And we train and match about 80 to 100 one-on-one tutoring pairs who meet at least 2 hours a week. They learn English. And this year, we have our annual event that celebrates all their success. And we have 30 adults who have, adult learners who have gotten their citizenship this year. So we're very excited about that.
More integration programs. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, as Harbor One, right, you guys couldn't resist this. I mean,
my experience is the library is the hub, right? The hub of the community with programming going on for all ages.
Yes.
From 0 to 90. Like there's something for everybody.
In all ethnicities as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's it's a place when people first come to the community. They seek out their library, and then they become part of a community, right? It's.
Yeah. So that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. So this is just a shot on the left before we moved is showing that we had a real shortage of computer access. Every computer for the public was taken, and we actually had to tape power strips onto a table so people could plug in their laptops. I mean, there just wasn't enough capacity in the old building. And the shot on the right is the Monday Night Homework Center, which also started about 13 years ago with a grant, and then was so successful that the school system asked if we would continue it, they would pay for the teachers. So they pay for 3 teachers to support it every Monday night for 2 hours from 6 to 8, and it's middle and high school students. And we have free tutors from the High School Honor Society and Stonehill College education majors. So that has worked out great, and the library just pays for pizza. So
Can't beat
if you
it.
feed them, they will come.
Yeah, that's right.
So that, and Chuck and Cheese gives us a great discount on pizza every Monday night. So that's been ongoing for quite a while, and is still very successful. And then the next slide is the outreach services. So this is, most towns don't have this, but Stoughton is very lucky. The library has a outreach coordinator who brings books to homebound patrons, and also to apartment complexes that have a lot of seniors living in them, and long-term care facilities. So that's, and SOLA, in one way or another, has helped support all of these programs. And the way they've done that is they have done these amazing fundraising efforts. So the next slide. So we had 4 Murder at the Library plays, and Dory started this. And the reason we say you can't say no to Dory is because she asked town dignitaries, selectmen, town managers, school teachers, the police chief. I mean, we've had everybody in these plays. And they're always embarrassing and really kind of silly. You've been in one, Steve.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
It just came to me.
Right.
So,
Yes.
you know, you just can't say no to Dory. And honestly, they started to really become a thing where people looked forward to them. But we only had 4 plays, and now we're done. But they raised a significant amount of money for us to get SOLA up and off the ground.
Right.
And
Very
then-
nice. Very nice idea. Very welcoming to the community,
Yeah,
too.
it really was. And it took a lot of the leaders of the community, having them be a part of it made them more approachable. You know, oh, there's the assessor. You know, there are different people in town that, you know,
The
oh,
police
the
chief,
police chief, I can go talk to him. So SOLA has a fundraising push now for the next 6 months or so of the new building.
Right?
And Sharon and Steve Fradkin had put together this flyer brochure that is just trying to get people to imagine we have the funds to build the building. Our goal now is to make it extra special and make sure by the time we get to the end of the project that we have enough money to cover everything that might still come up. Furniture, furnishings are an issue, enough technology. We're doubling the number of computers we want to have in the building. So this is kind of a push for that. And then the next slide is,
Okay, yeah, I know what this is.
Yeah.
This is the naming opportunities, right? So that, and I don't know if you can read, my eyes aren't good enough to read those, but I think the idea is that you make contributions, and then Pat has kindly just put the small thing in front of me so that I could read. So the main community room would require a $100,000 donation. And then there are smaller donations that go as small as $2,000 for computer stations, short book stacks, and tall book stacks. So that's someplace that allows you to organize your library better. So you can't just throw books all over the place,
right, well,
because people won't find them.
well, the way we look at this is we only get to build a new building once every 50 or 60 years.
Just that, yeah.
So, or maybe 100 in the case of the old library. But these opportunities for people to become a part of it, don't happen that often. So if people want to be a part of something that's long-lasting, certainly they can do this. In a couple of weeks, SOLA is going to roll out smaller priced things. There's a tree of life that will have leaves on it. There's a brick path thing.
Yeah, brick, that's very
wanna,
common.
That's right. And we want to make sure that we have something. If people, people love their library, we just want to make sure everybody has a way to be remembered in it if they want to.
I love it. I mean, the teen space room, if you wanted to be able to be identified with that, the multicultural learning area, all of these things are great identifications for business. So I think it's a great start. And as you say, you can go probably down to the $100 for a brick,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, and you can get part of the pathway. You can be remembered when you go to the library. So I think that's a fabulous idea. So SOLA again. So Gina, do we have a slide that just shows all the contact information for SOLA? We could maybe throw that up for a second in case somebody wants to steal. There you go. So if you do want to contact one of these lovely ladies at SOLA, 529 Washington Street, Stoughton, Mass. Currently, that's the address, right? We're gonna move
Yeah, we're
to
gonna move.
84 Park Street.
84 Park Street.
In the fall.
But you want to contact them now. You can also go on the website, supportourlibrary.org, and then solastoughton@gmail.com. And then Sharon Fradkin has graciously allowed her phone number to go up there, and that's 781-856-5245. And you'll be able to get through to these ladies through Sharon.
That's right.
And you all will be very helpful, right? I mean, if anything you can do to...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Sharon is not around right now, which is why she's not here, but...
She's vacationing. She
Right.
does too much of this stuff.
But you could contact any one of us, and we will do our best to fulfill your wishes.
Good. So if we can, it would be great if someone in the audience is inspired right now, jot down that number and or the email, or check the website out and say, you know, I'd like to contribute, you know, $200,
Right.
$20, but whatever, something that will help continue this legacy of collaboration that the library is performing for the community. I think that would be just terrific.
I did want to clarify, so Lynn and I are both on the library building committee. We aren't officially representing SOLA, we're just here to represent what's going on with the library and where we are with the project. Dolores and Sharon are really the people that you should talk to if you do want to make a donation, because I really can't be,
No.
nor I can't be responsible for that. We can't be involved in that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be conflating the government roles or whatever. like that.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't want to get you in any trouble. We want to try to get the organization forward.
So we want people to misunderstand. But we are very excited that the building is coming along and it's moving forward so smoothly, really, so far. We had a monthly meeting yesterday, and the furniture bids have gone out. We are hoping that all of that's going to fall into place. I can't think of anything else big. They just put the roof on. The back roof just went on at the end of last week and a little bit of this week. And after they had just finished, this is a great shot that's up there now. The poor contractors, M. O'Connor is the contractor for this job, and they've been wonderful to deal with. But they weren't able to start any of the interior work, including the electrical work, until the building was airtight, because there can't be water coming in. And so they plastic wrapped the building with some sort of plastic that's also fireproof. And they just got that done, I think, fully at the end of last week. And that was the day that the metal panels, which is the outside, skin of the building, got delivered. They didn't think that would be delivered for another month or two. So, but it's good because the plastic's up now. And once they get when they finish the rear lower roof part, then it will be completely sealed in, and then they can start doing the electrical, because there's several months of air conditioning and HVAC, heating, piping, water.
I bet you've learned more than you ever thought.
Oh my God, yeah, HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. We just had a meeting, at the end of our meeting this morning, one of the contractors, one of the people on the committee actually, Joel Wolk, who's a retired owner's project manager, he wanted Paul Jaffoon and I to go through every single square inch of the space and decide where there should be a thermostat and where there should be a temperature sensor. Because in a public building, if you put too many thermostats in, the public thinks that they can go change the temperature in every space. So how do you manage that? Because there's two big spaces with like 14-foot floor ceilings, so that's a different kind of space to manage for heat and air conditioning than the regular rooms that have a lower ceiling.
We have a 9-foot ceiling or something, yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. We're just like, hopefully most of it will be managed by the system and not by staff or the public, because you really just can't have that.
Now, I think Jean has also got a slide that shows us a plan view, right?
Oh, that would be great, yeah.
Looking down, so if you could show us, it might be the second or the first floor plan view. It's like from a helicopter. I'm not sure which screen it is. There we go. So which one is this? Is this first or second? Do you
So
know?
this is the first floor, and if you look to the left, you see that little blue box, and that's the main entrance. So the first floor is going to have a 16-foot deep and like 100-foot wide patio, and then it will have a glassed-in vestibule that you can walk through, and that's what that blue box is. So if you're waiting to be picked up, or if you're waiting for the BAT bus to come, you can go wait in that little heated or comfortable glass vestibule. And then when you walk into the building, the top left corner is sort of orange. That's the teen space. So they have a glassed-in teen gaming tinker room where whatever the latest technology is, we'll try to have it in there. We're hoping to get a 3D printer. We'll have a flat screen TV. They'll have whatever.
Yeah, robotics,
Robotics,
things like that.
Yeah, Amazon had called us up and they wanted to see if they could partner with us with some teen robotics and other STEM-related supplies and kits. And then the purple space is basically the whole adult stack collection. So that's all the major book collection will be there. And then the whole right bottom side, or bottom yellow side of the space is the children's area. So that has almost doubled in space. And then the back right corner that's yellow, that's a glassed-in children's craft and story time. And that's actually a space that a lovely couple from Stoughton made a donation to have that be a naming right for their grandparents. And they're an immigrant family in town, and they wanted to stay under the radar, but they didn't want to be publicly acknowledged, but they did want to let people know that they were doing that as a way to give back to the community, which we thought was lovely.
Wow. And so you do story time and things. So what's this one? This is a beautiful view to the sky.
Mm-hmm. This is a rendering as if you were walking in the front door on the first floor where that little glassed-in vestibule was that I was telling you about. So the teens would be on the left, the children's area would be on the right. The stairway, the old stairway that used to be in the building will still be there, that brings you up to the second floor. And that blue with the crisscross that probably will be white, but it's called a monitor, and there's two sets of windows on either side of it that will bring natural light into the second floor, and then there's an opening in the second floor that will bring natural light into the first floor. So it'll really have an open, airy sense of space, which is why we needed to have some of the children's and teens' rooms glassed in so that they would be quieter.
Yeah, I really like having the light, in any space that I'm trying to work in.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's very conducive to.
And when I get my assignments when I teach, and they'll put me in a room that is a corner room without windows, I go back downstairs and say, no, you need to have windows. It makes a difference, I think, in how the class goes.
Yeah.
So I love that you've added so much lighting and stuff.
Well, that was the architects. Feingold Alexander was very determined to try to maintain the same open space design of the old building in the new building.
So what is this one? This is the second floor?
So this is the second floor. So in this level, you would come in the back door, the old rear door, and it's in the same space. And then you would be faced with a little plaza, a little, we're calling it a cafe space. Yeah. And that will bring you downstairs. But if you just go straight through the center to the purple space, there'll be two sets of like 6 stairs each on either side of an opening that brings more light down to below. But those 6 stairs will bring you up to the second floor, which is the brand new floor that we didn't have before, because we never had space. We never had a second floor in the front of the building.
In which color area, so somebody just doesn't have like real good sight on this, would be the elevator so that the handicapped accessibility on those?
So if you came in the back door and you're facing the purple space where the stairs are, instead of going up the stairs, see how there's a light turquoise hallway to the right going to the top of the page?
Toward
in
the
center?
orange rooms.
Yeah?
Yeah. At the end of that hall is the elevator.
Okay, good.
And so that will stop actually on all 3 floors. The first floor, the second floor rear.
So it's a
and then
3-stop elevator. Yeah.
Well, we call it 2.5 because we do not have 3 stories. But when you go up So that elevator will stop at the rear second floor and open up to the back, and then when it gets up to the front second floor, it will open to the front.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we call that a three-stop
A
elevator.
three-stop elevator. Okay. Well, there was a big issue when we were going through the design phase about how if we had 3 separate floors, we would need more staff.
Ah,
So we do not have 3 separate floors.
2.5.
We were strategic.
We had to design it so we wouldn't need more staff. This is that.
Beautiful space.
So that purple space on the previous floor plan is 8,000 or 9,000 square feet of new space, and all that glass on the right-hand side is facing Park Street. So it'll be very sunny. It will have shades that we can pull down in the afternoon if it
Yeah,
gets
that's
really.
west exposure,
Yeah,
right?
sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lovely open space. There'll be so that's those windows that we were just looking at. This is the outside of the second floor. But see how the second floor sticks out over the first floor by
16.
Yeah, that was a key design for open space so that we could do story time out there. We can, there's not a lot of places where people can be outside in Stoughton. We've got this beautiful Faxon Park across the street, and this, we hope, will be a comfortable space.
To bring people to, into their environment without being inside.
Yeah, and everything's wireless, so you can sit out on a bench, which is another. Do you want to talk about the benches a little bit?
Well, there are, I think, 6 that are available that are going to be in the patio area. And they're, $7,500, I think, for the naming rights. And I think having the benches there is just such a great opportunity for people. I mean, we've never had any place where people could sit outside and, enjoy the coffee that they got in the cafe and come down
Wrapping
and
something up, are you going to have coffee available, like a Burns & Noble type thing?
No, we didn't have a space to have an outside vendor come in. Some libraries do that if they have an extra space.
Yep.
But in the rear entrance where there was some cafe tables, we're going to have a little alcove that will have a self-serve Keurig and coin-operated thing
So-
and that kind of thing.
That'll be fine, so
Yeah.
that'll be, you can
Right.
just take care of yourself. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Jen was saying that the library is like a hub, what we see happening all the time is people go there for one purpose, but then they bump into somebody and they want to visit for a little while. And now they'll actually be able to. Before you really couldn't. There was no quiet space to go. You come out of story time and you see a mom that you want to talk to about something. You can go sit on the porch. You can go sit upstairs. There's opportunities to continue that connection.
Excellent.
I think I was going to say the role of libraries has really evolved and changed, and the competition is Barnes & Noble. So how do you create that space through programming, through excellent furnishings, through light, and that's what's happening here. You're creating a space where people want to visit, and they're just using it a little differently. It's a meeting place, or you're bringing your technology in, or you're getting some excellent programming. So that's the exciting part, is that it becomes a hub or a center, the new community center, really, for people to come.
Yeah, and it does have the ability to pull in so many different people without the contradictions of bringing people together.
Right.
I think everybody knows the library is the safe place.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll give you one factoid that happened to Milton, town of Milton. So a year after the completion of the building of the new library, we saw our usage go up by 50%. So if you build it, they will come. And people who say, "Oh, I'm not a library person," they find something. They find something, new, or a meeting or community meeting, and it attracts a whole community.
Good. Lynn, what's your favorite part of the library now? And what do you think your favorite part is going to be later?
Now, and I'll tell you, I didn't frequent the library as much as I do right now, let's say. So I'd be there, every few months in the old library space. But having been involved in coming to the end of the old and the temporary space, I'm always amazed, no matter what time I'm there, that it is packed. People are there busy, people are on computers, kids are over at the story time. It's really a busy place, and all ages. So I'm amazed by that. And I just can envision when the new place is up and running that it'll be triple that, because we'll have so much more space. We'll have the private rooms for people to be in. We'll have a historical room that people might use for who knows what, genealogy, whatever might be their fancy. But it'll just be so much more alive. And having the teen spaces enclosed, you know, they can be noisy without people kind of staring at them that they're making
This is the principal
noise.
in you talking right
I know. And then over in the children's section during story. Now when you go to the temporary space and you're hearing the story out, it is loud.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
is.
wall, so it's loud. But it's nice. They should be loud. They should be interacting. And then they'll have this nice little space to do it in. So it's really nice, and it's a flexible space. So there can be tables can be moved, they can be on the floor. So it's really great. Yeah.
How about you, Dolores? What's your favorite part?
Oh, well, the books. I have been a library user since I was 5, going to the old Clapp building.
Okay.
And
Should we say how old? No, we won't go there.
it's a long time.
Before 1969, let's just say that.
And I just love books. I love that this library brings so many people together, and you know, I'm so happy as president of SOLA that we can count on people like Harbor One to help us, help us in this endeavor that is so important to the community. I mean, this endeavor of making this the 21st century library, we'll have the building we need to...
With the technology.
Yes.
The 21st century
Right.
technology, yeah.
And that's what we need. And I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled to be part of it.
So Jen, it sounds like you are really appreciating the connectivity portion.
Yeah, I think it's a new community center. People come, they connect. You'd be amazed what kind of organizations will use that new community space. It will be, all the realtors in town, or it'll be the Boy Scouts. I mean, everybody will begin to utilize the resources of this new library. It's in the programming. I mean, I think, as you can see, there's a very robust program that goes on currently, but when you have new space, there's going to be all kinds of opportunities, and that gets people excited. It's a great investment in the community for everybody. So everybody who's watching out there and think about it, it's a wonderful investment. It's a major asset of the community, and it's I couldn't think of a better investment.
That's excellent. Pat, your favorite part? What do you think of this? You won't hurt anyone's feelings. I mean, someone might say, well, my part's favorite. But you could have your own favorite. It's okay.
So the thing that makes me happy, I have to say, especially in the temporary space, there's two things. There's no quiet in the temporary space. So even though I'm in a cubby in the far back corner, everybody can hear everything. And when they do story time and they're singing and tap, it's like we're all at our desks tapping our feet. It's just, it kind of makes you happy. But the other thing is, I'm in and out of that building 4 or 5 times a day. And when you walk from the back space to the front, you pass all the people sitting on the computers. And I have 10 or 12 of them. If I had 20, they'd all be, the 10 or 12 are full all the time. We give them people a half hour. If no one's waiting, then they can stay longer. And it just amazes me that space people are using as their living room. They're getting their work done. They're watching a video from their relatives that live somewhere else. And we all take that for granted if we have that technology at home. But people don't. And every time I walk by, I'm like, we need to be here. This is a good place to be. And even being in that neighborhood is a good place for us to be now, because we're seeing new patrons that didn't go the mile down the street to the old place. So it's really been interesting on a lot of different levels. But that's the thing that gives me gratification is, I remember right before the recession started, people were saying you don't need libraries. Everything's going to be electronic. Right. We have ebooks. We have the internet. And just like Jen was saying, we didn't open a new building 10 years ago, but it was the beginning of the recession. And our business really increased by 20 to 30% almost overnight. Checking out books. More kids came to summer reading because their parents didn't send them to camp that year. People were looking for jobs on the internet. It was an eye-opener, and I thought, wow, you really can't take for granted that everybody has what you have. So that's what makes me feel good.
So sort of this unifying force
Yeah.
that's bridging economical strata, ethnical strata, so that the bridge portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very, very, very nice. Well, we're going to have to do some PSAs, so I'm going to reach out to Gina in the back and say, let's do some public service announcements, and then we'll come back to see you in just a moment.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662, or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
Well, we're back in studio, and I'd like to give you a couple of announcements. Monday night bingo, a Harvard Torah congregation, 1179 Central Street in Stoughton. They have a great time down there. It's a good group. The doors open at 4:30, and the games start at 6:30. You'll have a great time, and the Harvard Torah congregation is a wonderful congregation in addition to this town. So please frequent them if you can, and especially if you like bingo. And also we want to mention Stoughton's own cooking show called Get Fresh. And I think Sharon Fradkin is one of the people that pushes that right along. She has new episodes all the time, Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 28. And the times are 5:30 on Monday, Wednesdays. I'm having trouble reading this, Pat.
Wednesday, 8 p.m.,
Wednesdays at 8.
Thursday, 9 a.m., and Friday, 5 p.m.
So my eyes went foggy.
It's okay.
And then the Hometown Business Show, Tuesdays at 11, Wednesdays at 5:30, Thursdays at 6, and
Nope.
Sundays at 7.
Thursday at 8 p.m.
Thursday at 8. I could read that.
Sunday at 7. You have failed your eye test.
I failed my eye test. They won't let me drive away from here now. Okay. So, and then we have our contact for SOLA. And I think, Dolores, you wanted to say that if they want to contact you specifically.
Yes, I'd be glad to talk to anyone, and if anyone is interested in joining SOLA, you know, they can either go to the library or call me directly. My number is 781-344-7167.
That's
And
dedication. You put that phone number out there.
Well, I know, but I am dedicated
That's why
to
she's
this.
president.
That's right.
You want to repeat that number one more time for me?
781-344-7167.
Excellent. So, Jen, we have a couple of minutes left. What other programs is Harbor One supporting? So we'd like to hear when a bank does a great job in a community, they deserve a little light to shine on them. So
Yeah, I always
please.
say I have the best job at the bank. I have a chance to meet a number of community groups and make those investments of the bank into those groups. And so we do our areas of focus are really around housing and supporting safe and accessible housing for folks. In addition to that, education that fuels future success, and that's where I see this partnership, Harbor One's partnership with the Stoughton Public Library. I see that sort of fitting into that category because we really value the opportunity to give folks a leg up so they can, whether it's really young kids or folks just entering the workforce or re-entering the workforce or just first time coming to this country. I mean, that's sort of really, we do a lot of investments around there. And the other piece is basic needs. So we've been in partnership, thanks to Pat, put us in touch with the Stoughton pantries, both of them. We do a program called Harvest for Hunger every fall. And we were thrilled to bring in the Stoughton pantries into that process this year. We do a food collection, we do a donation, that kind of thing. So we like to say at Harbor One we're community driven, but we really like to go beyond the transaction and formulate relationships. And that's what, again, that professional, personal relationship with the Stoughton Public Library, it's an honor to be part of this. And thank you for having us on today, because I think you got to remind people the relevancy of libraries in their community and the value. And anytime we have opportunity to do that, it's a great thing.
Do you also, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, does the main office in Brockton, is that where you have most of your classes?
Actually, we moved our headquarters about 8 years ago. So our classes are offered in downtown Brockton at our Legion Parkway office.
Oh, okay.
So really accessible on the bus line. And our former boardroom is actually a classroom area, and it's fully outfitted with computers. So we offer classes like English, Path to Citizenship, first-time home buyers, really basic budgeting, those kinds of classes. We also have a classroom space over in Mansfield where we offer similar classes. But another component of Harbor One U is our outreach programs. So we're in the midst of what I like to call Credit for Life season, and that is a simulation that we do with high schools. We just had about 30 volunteers from Harbor One over at Brockton High School doing a simulation with juniors and seniors about they're assigned a career, and then they've got to go to each booth and actually find their housing and their transportation and really understand budgeting.
Oh, wow.
So we do a lot of outreach programs for youth.
Somebody designed a good program there. I love that.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing program. But we do financial education from anywhere from like 3 years old to senior citizens, which is fantastic.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Lynn, we have just a couple minutes. I wanted you to get another chance to kind of put a final face to the work you do.
Sure. Well, mostly what I think of the library, we talked about it being a community center, but really, even for new families in Stoughton, that might be their very first connection to Stoughton, to families of Stoughton, to what's available in the town, just through coming into the library for Story Hour. Simple as that. They come in, they learn a lot about the town, they make connections with other families, and they learn about what's going on. So I think as a community center, it's really the hub. It is the focus for the town. So I'm really proud that we're going to have this great resource, and sooner than we think, which is terrific. I mean, you can see it coming up, and we'll be ready in the fall to go. So
that's
really
great.
proud of that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very
I think
exciting.
the town will be too.
Do you know the date certain yet?
No date certain.
We're sticking with the fall.
Let's just say fall. And for
Everybody's
us,
getting a laugh out of this. No date certain.
and for,
Crazy?
Exactly. And for the Gibbons School, we're thrilled when it first opens because it's in walking distance for us.
Yeah.
So we can take walking field trips up to the library.
Oh
So
my
we're really
goodness.
lucky.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that too.
Wonderful, very good.
Thank you.
Dolores, one more sort of like a set of thoughts that would help you to sort of close out the program and make sure you get the point across.
I don't know. I guess for me, the library is the most important thing in the town. I mean, as you said, it's a community center. It involves so many different people, different ages, different ethnic groups, everything. And I just love it, and I just hope that people support it and realize its importance to the community. And to, you know, to be mercenary, it helps with real estate values, everything. So I say, support our library.
And sort of maybe like making the case to pay attention to what really works, right? You mentioned Milton, how it's worked, and these are the things that make a community become cohesive
Yes.
and fixed and powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to add that Lynn has been a great partner. The schools in general have definitely been great partners with the library. But a couple of years ago, one of her reading teachers instituted this. Every child in the given school had to get a library card. And it became this school-wide competition that was insane. And I mean, to the point where, you know, if there was a parent who hadn't brought their kid into the library to get their card, they would get a phone call.
Tackle her.
Everybody. But it was fabulous because it taught 400 kids or whoever, how many ever participated, that this is a card that gives you access to everything for free in this building for your whole life. And that's something you need to learn early. And if you don't, you really do miss out, because there's going to be ebbs and flows in your life where the library is going to be a safety net or a quiet place to get through your college course studies or just all those kinds of things. And it really, the schools have been a great supporter, I have to say, of this. And then the summer reading is, you know, there's studies that show if kids don't read during the summer, they sometimes lose 20% of their previous year's gains. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but it's significant. So to have, you know, minor incentives and fun activities to continue to get kids to read all summer is just a huge bonus for everybody.
All right. Well, thank you for the SOLA work that you are doing, right, on behalf of Stoughton. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Gina Coe. She's out in the back as the director. Roy Cohen, who helped to put it all together. Leo McGowan is our cameraman. He's always cheerful and helping at every opportunity. Jeff Pickett helped put together the program. Often Dave Young does as well. So we want to thank you, the viewer especially, for paying attention to SOLA. Wish you have a great day. Thank you for watching.